Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Lindsay Vastola, and I am excited that you've joined us here today to learn more about the 8-Week Body Project Empowered by Curves. I'm thrilled to share this program with you. It is life-changing, and I know that it can be powerful for you in helping you achieve your optimal health goals. So welcome. For those of you who are joining live, you're welcome to say hello in the chat box, or if you have any questions or thoughts as I go through, my goal today is to give you a little bit better understanding, number one, of why you might be challenged by not being able to stick with your healthy habits long term. So I'm hoping to give you some insight there, maybe some aha moments and revelations that might help you along your journey. And then secondly, to show you how the 8-Week Body Project Empowered by Curves can play a significant role in helping you knock out those habits, stick with them long term, and end that frustration with that sort of on again, off again, yo-yo dieting, and how this can create a great opportunity for you. So with that, I'm sure there are many reasons why you're here, but I am guessing that perhaps you're here for one of the following reasons. And again, you're welcome to share in the chat. It helps me get an idea of what your primary frustrations are. And you can do it directly to me in the chat or to the group. So maybe you are here because you've tried countless plans and programs, fitness programs, weight loss programs, diet programs. You feel like you've tried them all. You feel like you generally know what you need to do, but you struggle to stick with it long term. Maybe you know you want to prioritize your health and well-being, but it feels overwhelming and exhausting to do so. Busy life, we have so many things that are obligations and expectations, just managing our home, our families, our work. So it can feel overwhelming and exhausting. Maybe you're just tired of figuring it out on your own. I think a lot of women feel like they've got to figure it out, just like we do everything else in our life. And when it comes to our health, well-being, maintaining a healthy weight, getting to those optimal health goals, we try to figure it out on our own. And that gets really tiring as well. Maybe you feel stuck. I think this is a big word we use maybe at different points in our life. We feel stuck. Like we've tried everything, and just knowing where to start can often be the biggest challenge. But you also know that something has to change, right? You've done everything that you feel like should work, but like, what's the definition of insanity? We keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and we expect different results. But if it's not working, deep down, we know that there has to be a missing link, that something else needs to change. So I'll give you a quick rundown of who I am, just to give you an idea of where I come from and kind of my perspective that I hope to share with you. So I've been, for the better part of the last 15 years, I have been in the fitness and wellness industry. I came from a corporate background and very quickly realized that grind was unhealthy for me. And so I started Body Project Fitness, and I had a women's health and wellness studio. You can see here in that middle picture, those are some of my amazing clients. So I had my studio open for about 15 years. I also have had the opportunity to speak in the industry, to educate, to consult. I was the editor of a fitness professionals trade magazine. And I share this with you because I want to share with you that it's not just, literally thousands of conversations I've had with women of their struggles, but also because I've had the unique opportunity to see what is going on in the fitness, diet, nutrition industries, and things that I saw were missing. Right? If we're giving such great things, in our fitness programming and our diet programming, why are so many women still struggling? And so that's really what I've dedicated the last several years to figuring out, so that I can work with, coaches like those at Curves, so that we can complement and bring the best of both worlds to help women succeed. So I'll give you kind of a background, right? So with my clients, And I'm sure this may feel familiar to you, but I gave my clients, I gave them exercise programs, wonderful, sound, safe exercise programs. I gave them transformation challenges. I gave them meal plans and recipes. I did coaching, one-on-one and group coaching. I gave seminars and workshops and accountability, because a lot of us, that's what we need. We need someone to be accountable to, especially when we're embarking on taking on something new. But I found that, like, no matter what I gave them, what programs, the programs could be phenomenal. What I started to discover is that there were two distinct groups of women, same plans and programs, but two groups of women. One group were women who succeeded. They were able to take the plans and programs, they were able to implement them into their life. And they were able to do so ultimately without the ease or without the overwhelm. It was easy for them to integrate. It didn't feel like they had to diet or it was always so much work. They figured out a way to stick with their healthy habits and not have to be on that yo-yo anymore. And then the second group of women were those that continually struggled. So I want to reiterate, same programs. What was the difference between the women who succeeded and the women who struggled? And so I really had to learn, right? What determines whether they're succeeding or struggling? Because if the plans and programs work for half of them, right, why isn't it working for the other half? And so I asked myself, what do I really need to teach women so they can end their struggle and help them succeed long term? What's that X factor? What do they really need to know beyond just the exercise plan and the diet plan? They can reach their goals, but more importantly, not just reach their goals short term, but do it for the long term. And we start looking at what we've been told or what we've been conditioned to believe is the solution. We've been told forever, well, if you want to lose weight, if you want to stay healthy, you just simply have to eat less and exercise more. Well, if it was just that easy, I don't think many of us would be experiencing the frustrations that we have, right? And so I had to take a look at this. It's not just about eat less, exercise more. Why do we think this way? And we have to realize that achieving your optimal health requires more than just diet and exercise. There's actually 5 different factors, right, that we have to take into play. Many of all of which we go into depth into in the 8-week body project, but we need to look at food, of course. We need to look at exercise, of course. But 3 that are often talked about, but not necessarily taught: sleep routines and recovery, stress management, and optimal hydration. Those are the 3 that I find, again, are talked about, but those play equally as big of a role in achieving your health goals, whatever those goals are, more than simply eating less and exercising more. And so if we look at, those women who struggle and succeed, this is what I realized. I said, it's almost like if we're trying to build a home, and if you can see this home, this is just a visual that I like to use. It's not the best home, right? If we don't have a good structure, we can throw all the programs, all the exercise plans, all the prescriptive diets and products and things, we can throw it all at it. But if we don't have the foundation strong, all of these, which might be very good and sound programs, effective programs, but if we are missing the mindset and habit piece, our structure is going to crumble. These will never last. We will not see long-term success. And this is truly the difference between those women who succeed and those who continue to struggle. The ones who succeed can use those programs in a way that, as long as they have that strong foundation of the right mindset and implementing the right habits, those plans and programs are 100 times more effective, not just short term, but for the long term. So I realized what I really needed to teach women. I needed to teach women, number 1, how to defeat their diet or mindset. What's the dieter mindset? Maybe it sounds obvious, but here's an example of a dieter mindset. Basically the thoughts in our mind that drive our actions. So someone who operates from the dieter mindset, for example, will look at a plate of food and they will say, will this make me gain weight or lose weight? They look at a plate of food and they say, what do I need to cut out? I have to cut calories. I have to cut sugar. I have to cut carbohydrates. And so they're looking at everything from, they use the scale as a determinant of their success. And this is a mindset that does not serve long-term success. So ultimately, in the 8-Week Body Project, what we do is we help take women who, without even realizing that they're operating in the dieter mindset, we help shift them into what I call the energy mindset. And that energy mindset is somebody who can look at a plate of food and say, what kind of energy do I need today? Do I need more carbohydrates? Oh, that sugar, that really doesn't make me feel good. I'm going to think twice about it next time. They take a more balanced, less overwhelming approach. Their relationship with food, they manage their stress more effectively. They start seeing connections that impact that long-term success for them. So that was number one. I need to teach, how do we defeat that dieter mindset? Number two, most women, what we struggle with is not the number of plans or programs or the great workouts at the gym. What we struggle with is our inability to self-motivate, and coupled with that recurring, I hate this word, but we self-sabotage. Why do we do it? If we can understand why we do it and what triggers that, and have actual strategies in place, habits in place that keep the self-motivation alive, that will help them with long-term success. That is one thing I hear women all the time, Lindsay, I just have never been self-motivated. And it's not because we don't have it in us. We just haven't been given or taught the tools of how to do it. We're self-motivated. We're very motivated for our family and our friends and our work, right? And we figure out a way to do it for them. But when it comes to our own health, unfortunately, we're not implementing those. And that in itself is determining whether you're going to the gym, whether you're making the best food choices, right? So if I can teach women how to end their struggle with self-motivation and self-sabotage, to me, that would help to solidify that mindset and habits foundation. And ultimately, this all sounds great, right? We want healthy habits, but the reality is, and I get this personally, just from my personal life and experience, it can feel very challenging to try to balance all these healthy habits and the plans, right, with the demands of everyday real life. So it's easy when, everything's going as planned, right? But when something gets busy or overwhelming at work, or the holidays come, or you get sick, or your friend, your kids, schedule is all out of whack, right? How do we continue those habits despite the adversity, despite those demands and challenges of everyday life? How can we kind of marry our prioritizing of our health with being able to still manage and balance everyday life, everyday stress? So I hope this makes sense. So what I really want to focus on, and what this 8-Week Body Project at a core is addressing the missing links, not just another diet or fitness program. We need to focus on mindset and habit change. And that's where the 8-Week Body Project, empowered by Curves, perfectly complements all of Curves programming, the fitness, the nutrition, all of the coaching. This is that missing link that connects both of those, all the features that you're getting as a Curves member, the food, the fitness, the stress management. It gives you the mindset piece. So this is why, working with Curves is such a perfect complement. And I think you'll find, and what women who have gone through the program have found, that they are more committed to their workouts and getting to the club, regularly. They are more committed to the nutrition programs because it gives them that missing link. So what is the 8-Week Body Project? The 8-Week Body Project really is two parts. So we have part one, which is the habit piece, right? Mindset and habits. So we need to rethink the habits that we integrate on a regular basis. This is what I call the action plan. This is sort of the doing, right? We all want something to be able to check off and say, yes, I did it, I completed it, and feel like we're progressing forward. So that's the action plan. The second part is the mindset coaching piece. This is the missing link. This is what I call the secret sauce. And so what this looks like is that everyday habits, the action plan, they're self-paced, self-guided online education. I'll talk about it more in detail in a moment, but this gives you knowledge, information, assessments. Where are you starting on this habit, and what do you need to do to implement it and make it a habit regularly? You will get a beautiful success toolkit, which I'll show you in a moment. Where's mine? I'll show you in a moment, but it is I know for those of us who love pen to paper, this is a really valuable tool that supports the education. The second piece is the coaching. This is weekly live group coaching where your coach will teach you how to defeat that diet or mindset. This is conversation. This is, bringing new concepts to light, helping you look at things in a different perspective that really shifts your mindset away from the dieter mindset and into that energy mindset. So this is probably the most valuable part in terms of really creating mindset change, but coupled with the action plan that you'll get to integrate those habits. They're like a perfect duo. So let's talk about this part one, the everyday 8 habits, the action plan. So each week we use a methodology called the habit stacking method. So what the problem with so many diets and plans and programs is they throw a lot of information at you. They say, change your eating, don't eat this, cut out this, exercise more. And it's very overwhelming. It's sustainable for a short period of time. But in the 8-Week Body Project, we're integrating brain science, right? And the brain cannot capacitate that much change in a short period of time. Again, it might be able to do it short period, but over time, when real life happens and old beliefs start kicking in, what happens is you end up back at square one. So instead, we use this habit stacking method. I like to think of it like math. Right? When you were a kid, you learned math by first learning to count and then to add and then subtract. And then after you gradually increased your ability to do math, then you started doing algebra and all of those more complicated math skills. But if you try to do the complicated math skills before you learn to add or subtract, you're going to struggle, you're going to give up, and you're going to hate math, right? So this is what we use as our habit building method. So the 8 habits that we're looking to integrate, we stack one habit every week. We start with hydration. We move into movement, fitness. We talk about mindful eating. This is probably one of the most powerful weeks in terms of shifting your perspective on your food and your eating. We talk about sugar, and understand that this program is not about taking things out of your diet. We are certainly not saying you can never eat sugar again, but we need to look at how sugar plays a role, understand it differently so that we can start acting differently. Stress management. I know this is a huge one for most women. Again, in most programs, this is not taught. So we give actual strategies of how to more mindfully manage your stress, because that we know when we're stressed, we eat. When we stress, we don't work out, right? So this is a key one for sure. We talk about protein, we talk about fresh foods, and ultimately rounding it out with not just, following a plan, but how do you navigate these healthy habits even during times of adversity. So it's a complete, right, making a habit of all of these. And some of these might feel like, oh, I've got the hydration thing. I find what women do is they come into this program and even things they thought were simple for them or they were already doing, there's new strategies. They look at it different and it augments their success. So part of this part one, the education, you have weekly videos. These are all going to be housed. You'll go to My Curves on Demand, access your videos. And each of those habits I just mentioned include 4 different parts. And it starts with the start here. Okay, so most programs, they don't assess where you're starting. They just assume everybody is ready to implement a big nutrition changeover and makeover. So we have the start here. And then we talk about the education, right? Let's learn and understand, have a deeper understanding. And then the do section is the fun one. This is where you learn different strategies, right, that may work for you, that you can try different ways of implementing it. And then the reflection part, really spending some time to understand how you might integrate this into your life. Maggie, I see your hand up. Do you want to just quickly unmute yourself and ask, did you have a question? Or are you just giving me a high five? All right. Maggie, if you want to try, maybe type a question in the chat. So continuing on, part of this education is about mindful eating. It's important to understand going into the 8-week body project, this is not a diet plan. We give guided education on mindful eating. It is not restrictive. You will never hear any point in this program saying you cannot eat something. It's not prescriptive. So we're not saying you have to eat X number of grams of protein. That's where those prescriptive programs, right? When you have the foundation, then when you start integrating those more prescriptive style plans, it makes it more effective. So we talk about how do we eat, what are those everyday eating habits? And of course, though, we love new recipes and eating ideas, which we talk about as well. The fitness piece of this program really is exactly what you know it to be, is, you're going to your club, your local club, or your My Curves on Demand workouts. So that really kind of stays the same. This complements your fitness programming. Another piece of this part one, the action plan, is the accountability piece and the continuing education in your success toolkit. So it's a workbook that supports, with the weekly videos. It has worksheets, assessments. It's a journal and reflection sections. This is a toolkit. I have women who did the program 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and they'll come back and they say, Lindsay, whenever I'm feeling like I need to get back on track or, kind of kick up my habits again, the success toolkit, I keep going back to. So this will be something not just for the 8-week program, but that will be valuable for you ongoing. Maggie, did you unmute?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh. Did you have a question, Maggie? Okay, well, Maggie, if you want to type your question, that might be best in the chat. Sorry for any trouble there. Okay, part 2, the mindset coaching. Like I said, this is the secret sauce. I think as women, we really undervalue the value that is given for, just that interpersonal, that connection, understanding what's going on with other people's, what other women are experiencing, their experience, but to have a coach that can really guide you through the strategies to change your mindset. Okay, so these happen, they're weekly group sessions. If you are doing an online program, if you sign up, depending on where you sign up through your club, it may be in person or online, or it will be on Zoom. So, and you'll get ongoing support emails. These success circles sessions, this mindset coaching, just as a, kind of a planning piece. We do not record these. We do this out of respect for those in the group, just for privacy. And there's 4 different times that you can attend, which I'll talk about in a moment. So let's talk about, I know women, we are busy. The question I always get, well, how much time is this going to require me to do? Number one, I'll preface something, if something is important enough, you will figure out a way to do it, right? If exercising is important enough to you, you will figure out a way to incorporate it into your schedule. If cooking healthy meals for your family is important enough to you, you will figure out a way to do it. And so with a program like this, if long-term change, if reaching your optimal health goals is truly important to you, you'll figure out a way to do it. But with that being said, I try to make this as simple as possible, and achievable as possible. So how much time? So you can think of it this way: weekly, you'll want to think about, for 1 hour, attending the virtual success group mindset coaching session. So the virtual program, these are the dates and times, and they are all in Eastern time. So if you're in a different time zone, all the information will be sent as well following. But these are the options for your time. And those sessions last between 45 minutes to an hour. And then weekly, you'll want to commit 20 to 30 minutes to watching those videos. I know women who listen to the videos in the car on their way to work, or they might do, one video, and each video is 4 to 5 minutes, and 4 videos per week. So you can figure out how to navigate that based on your schedule. Daily, okay, you're going to log your habits in your success toolkit. So if you want that accountability piece, that tracking piece in your toolkit, there is a place to mark off your habits. And then whatever your recommended Curves fitness program is. So if it's going to the club, if it's a video on My Curves on Demand, that's something that you will incorporate most days. And then as you need, reach out for support. So maybe it's the Facebook group, your coach. But this is really, in the grand scheme, this is, making time for this will absolutely pay off long term. The dates for this New Year's program begins this coming Monday, January 24th through March 22nd. So there's actually 9 Success Circle coaching sessions, because we kind of, do a kickoff and then we wrap up at the end to make sure that you feel like you have good momentum moving forward. So, and just as a heads up, this isn't a program that's offered ongoing. We do this only 2 to 3 times every year. So, the next time we offer it is going to be several months from now. So I encourage, if you are really ready to make a change, there's no better time than the present. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait a few months and then kind of delay all that success that you could experience in the meantime. So just to recap, what you get as part of this program: you get the Everyday 8 Habits Action Plan. That's the toolkit. That's all of the education. You get the weekly mindset coaching, super valuable, where you have that in person, not just talking about what to do, but how to do it, really shifting you out of that dieter mindset that is holding you back from long-term success. And then whatever your Curves fitness program included in the program as well. So I'm going to wrap up with a couple, questions that I often get, or, as I mentioned earlier, when we're ready to make a change, when we know we want to commit to our health, we've been kind of conditioned to believe that the first thing we need to look for is another plan or program. And so when we see a plan or a program, we immediately think that, oh, it's a weight loss program, or, oh, it's going to give me a specific meal plan to follow, because we've been made to believe that those are the only solutions. But it's still not teaching us that mindset and habit piece. So I often get the question, is this a diet program? So if you're expecting, meal plans and to count your calories, this is not it. Okay, this is a mindset and habit change program. And our goal is to get you out of that dieter mindset, so that you don't have to feel tethered to the calorie counting and the gram counting, right, over time. But with that being said, we talk about building mindful nutrition habits. It's not prescriptive nutrition. It's not a prescriptive diet. But again, it gives you that foundation, so that, like, for example, the Curves nutrition program, that's a perfect complement to this, because you've developed that strong foundation. The next question, or maybe back in your mind, you're like, oh, if I do this program, it's going to make me lose weight. So I get that question, is it a weight loss program? And while weight loss, of course, if we're changing our habits and doing more positive things, is weight loss, or more importantly, fat loss, which there's a difference, and I talk about it in the 8-Week Body Project, It's an important difference. But while that may be a positive outcome, this really focuses on how do we create an everyday lifestyle that isn't overwhelming, that I can actually achieve a sustainable weight, and more importantly, that overall physical, mental, and emotional health. Think about it as sometimes we need to slow down in order to speed up. So if you do this program, slow down, really change the X factor, get a stronger mindset, implement better habits, it will speed up your progress, whether it's fat loss as your goal or increasing your fitness. It will actually speed it up because you took the time to really address what matters. And then, lastly, it's, is this a challenge? Is it focused on quick results? And I hope you're kind of getting through what I've shared with you, that those obviously don't work. They can be fun sometimes, right? Or they're a way to kind of, challenge yourself for a short period of time. But this is really a program designed for women who are struggling from that dieter mindset and who are finally ready to commit to those lasting, sustainable, healthy habits. It's really designed to meet you where you are. You don't have to be at a specific fitness level. If you haven't worked out in years, this is perfect for you. If you work out every day, this is perfect for you. If you struggled with eating, if you feel like you haven't found what works for you, this program will meet you where you are. And the way we do that is each week we have those self-assessments so that you can say, here I am, here's where I want to go, and where you are may be very different from somebody else. So it truly starts where you are. And I think that's a powerful piece of this program. So ultimately, in summary, the 8-Week Body Project is a mindset and habit change program that helps success-driven women defeat that dieter mindset, end their struggle with self-motivation so they can have lasting change for life. I'm going to share with you as we wrap up here a couple things. I'm going to share a quick story that you might identify with, but I want to share one of the strategies that we incorporate, right? Because we might think, well, how do I change my mindset? Again, nobody taught us this in school. Nobody taught us how to have mental toughness or resiliency. And one of the most powerful strategies we teach in the program is how to ask better questions. You don't even realize every day, thousands of times a day, your brain is asking a series of questions that leads you to take certain actions. Okay. And so most of us, when we're ready to make a change, we're ready to embark on committing to our health, we ask ourselves, what's the best program to help me reach my goals? What's the best diet plan? What's the meal plan I should look for? And instead of asking that, because what happens, and we end up going back to that cycle of insanity of just looking for that next best plan. The better question, if you've been struggling to stick with healthy habits over time, what do I really need to learn so that I can achieve lasting results, so that I can achieve my optimal health goals? What do I really need to learn? Now it opens up your mind to look for a different way, to really understand what needs to change, not just another plug and play program. Okay, so if there's one thing you maybe write down today is, think about asking that better question, what do I really need to learn so you can achieve long-term success? This is one of my favorite, we've received so many wonderful testimonials from Curves members. This is one that I think many of you might identify with. And she says, for the first time ever, everything fell into place. Many years of dieting and scale watching and not getting anywhere. Joining Curves has taught me a lot, but the 8-Week Body Project has just topped it off. And I think that's just that perfect marriage between what Curves has to offer, the powerful fitness, nutrition, and coaching that is offered through your Curves membership, combined with the habit and mindset piece in the 8-Week Body Project. I'm going to wrap up with the story of the joiner. This is me with a longtime client of mine. Her name's Deb, and she had just finished my 8-Week Body Project. And she came to me and she said one day, she said, you know what, Lindsay, I realized that for so long, I have just been a joiner. And I said, Deb, what do you mean a joiner? And she said, for so many years of my life, I struggled with my weight. I struggled with my self-confidence. I struggled with my eating. And I always found that I would look to join the next program, to join the next gym, to join the next product or, fat loss, trend. And I never really understood what it really takes to see that long-term success. I was so busy looking for the next thing, hoping that it would be the answer. And she said, Lindsay, I wish I had the 8-Week Body Project 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, it would have saved her thousands of dollars of all the plans and programs. It would have saved her the sanity and the undue stress of feeling like she was failing all the time, that she couldn't just focus on her true health. And she wished, 30 years ago, had she had this program, it would have kind of saved her from having to join all these things that didn't work for her. And why? Because it taught her the foundation. It taught her the importance of having the right mindset, implementing the right habits, so that those fitness programs that she joined, so that the meal plans and ways of eating, she would look at them differently, go in with a different perspective, apply them differently in her life so that she can experience lasting results. So I don't know if many of you might be able to identify with Deb's story, but that was really, I think for her, it was life-changing. And I think a good reflection of so many of us just spend so many years frustrated doing the same things over and over again, when really it's just about taking a new perspective. I hope that I've showed you, a new perspective on how to approach and achieve your optimal health goals. And I truly believe the 8-Week Body Project is a perfect complement to your membership with Curves, and how we can only make those results even more effective for you. It's important to remember that many of us, at the core of the reason why we might not be sticking with our long-term goals, we do it for a short period of time and then life happens. It really, at a core, a lot of us are just lacking a strong self-confidence. And if we think about it, right, you feel really confident when everything's great and you're doing all the right things. But then the minute something throws you off course, then it starts taking you down a pathway where you don't feel confident, where you question yourself, where you say things like, I just don't have the willpower, or, I always fail no matter what I do. We have to remember that self-confidence happens when we keep the promises we make to ourselves. So if you keep making promises like, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym, I promise, right? Or I'm going to start eating better tomorrow, and then we don't do it, it's like robbing our self-confidence bank little by little. And before you know it, we're in this place where we don't feel hope. We don't feel motivated. And so again, what I hope to give you in this 8-Week Body Project is the tools to help you build that self-confidence, keep the self-confidence, so that you follow through on the promises you make to yourself, just like you follow through on the promises you make to everyone else. So I would love, if you would consider the 8-Week Body Project. If you are interested in joining the program, as I mentioned, it begins January 25th. You can register with your local Curves coach. If you don't have a local Curves club near you, you can go online. I know this is a really long website, but you can take it down, maybe take a picture of the screen, or just go to curves.com. And it's pretty easy to follow there if you click on the programs tab. I am happy to answer any questions. We've got a few minutes here if you want to type in the chat or unmute. But like I said, your local Curves coach can absolutely help you, or go onto the website for information about registration, and all those details are there. Any questions? Thank you for your time, everybody. If you have questions, you can just go ahead and unmute. This is always the fun part. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hi there, Lindsay. This is great information. like probably most everybody on the call, I'm always on that journey to feel better and lose weight. And I took a big step in November and had weight loss surgery, and that's certainly been a great thing. But I'm really looking for something like this to incorporate in with that tool. So my question kind of hits on the information that you just gave. I'm not currently a Curves member. I don't have a club close by. So can I join Curves Online? And then would I pay the Curves Online fee and then this 8-week body project fee as well?
Yes. So go to there and it will include, and I don't know, Amanda, if you're on the call, if you want to add anything here, but yes, if you go, so 2 parts, just the logistical stuff, go online, you'll be able to register, get all the information, even if you don't have a club there, and you would have access to the My Curves On Demand workout plans and programs. And there's even more fitness coaching and things you'd be able to opt into as well. The second, or the first thing that you mentioned, number one, congratulations on taking that step. I'm sure it wasn't easy. I will say we have had several women who have gone through weight loss surgery or something of the like. And this was that missing link because, and no, not to undermine the process or what the doctors or your support team have given you, right, of how to eat and so on, just to make this the results successful and long lasting. Right. This is often the piece that's not addressed. And this is the piece that truly is the X factor. How can you feel confident with your choices? How can you break through those limiting beliefs? No matter what weight we are, we have beliefs in here that will creep up and sabotage us no matter what weight we are. And if we don't address that mindset piece, unfortunately, again, it's not because we're bad people or we don't have willpower. It's just our brain. Our brain will always go back to what is safe and what we know and what we think is comfortable. So I believe, Carolyn, this would be absolutely powerful in giving you that missing piece. And if it's any consolation, just to know that there are several women who have similar experiences just from the little bit that you shared with me.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was great. And I think you're absolutely right. So I appreciate that feedback.
Absolutely, Carolyn. Hope to see you. Anybody else? Questions? All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining today. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was hopeful, if anything, that there's a better way to achieve your optimal health goals. And I hope that you'll let us as your coaches help you achieve that next level of success for you. Have a wonderful day. Stay strong, and I hope to see you soon.